to have you.
Quick story about this man. The great Bill Walton once told me when you were playing with his son Luke at Arizona, Bill took me aside one day and said, there's this kid at Arizona. You got to check him out. He's going to be the next Michael Jordan. It was Richard Jefferson.
Thanks for that, Bill.
Yeah.
Really appreciate
who was
that.
in college. You had a great pro career, but in college you were an explosive athlete, and so he was comparing your athletic explosion to Michael Jordan's.
Well, I was fortunate because Luke was passing me the ball, and so Luke was a heck of a passer. So we had a pretty good chemistry right there. So we made ESPN's top 10. We made YouTube, the beginning of YouTube, all that stuff. So we made the highlights a few times.
Well, I mean, you remember what happened a year ago, Christmas Day, when y'all pogo stick Kevin Durant.
And Klay Thompson.
Not what I'm talking about.
Don't forget the two. Those are my guys, though. Those are my guys. It was fun doing that.
Yeah.
So wait, didn't Richard get away with a foul at the end of that game?
It was not a foul.
It seemed like it was a foul to me.
No, it wasn't.
Didn't the last 2-minute report?
Well, the last 2-minute report is always funny, but as we know, the last 2 minutes that's a man's time, right?
Yeah,
that's a man's time. Don't look for help anywhere else.
That is true.
Right.
Got to stay on your own too, if you can.
Right. Well, the Cavs are a team you know well, and they got blown out in Game 1. So how concerned should they be about the Pacers?
They should be concerned from a standpoint of they've lost to them, 3 out of 4, 4 out of 5 times.
4 out of 5, yeah.
So they should be concerned from that standpoint. But you still have a lot of different. It's a chess game, and T. Lue is one of the best at playing chess. Okay, this is what you guys did. The Cavs didn't shoot the ball well at all, and I think for some of the new guys that are there for the first time, Jordan Clarkson, Larry Nance Jr., like the guys that are kind of going through this, and even Rodney Hood. For these guys that are on that stage with Bron, not saying that they haven't played in the playoffs or haven't been on a high level, I think they need to kind of get into that rhythm. But it starts with Oladipo and trying to slow him down.
So should LeBron try to slow him down?
No. Bron has to facilitate too much. And there's a lot of guys, even Kevin Love being in the number 2 role. For the last couple of years, he's been that third scorer, that X factor, the tough matchup. Now he's that number 2 guy. Bron's going to do what Bron does, and now instead of Kyrie, you have Kevin Love. And Bron's always had a second guy in D Wade and Chris Bosh, like when they've been really successful. So Kevin has to play well and play at a high level also.
But when LeBron has had success, that second guy, you could give him the ball, he can go create his own shot. That's not what Kevin Love is. Kevin Love needs LeBron to put him in the spot so he can succeed.
Yeah, and that's the difference between this team and I think the past 7, how many finals has he been to? 7? The last 7 finals teams, he's had other guys that he could just toss the ball to. Now, I think that's in my opinion why Bron is to me should be MVP, because if you look at this team, and what he's done with this team, and people criticized him last year for taking games off and not playing a full season and resting. I remember there were clips of Russell and James Harden saying, yeah, I think playing 82 games should mean something. So he's like, okay, if that's one of the criteria you want to use against me, I'm going to play 82 games. And I think it was needed for this team,
right?
Because there were so many different changes and trades and all the different things that happened. Now he's like, okay, well, I'll be that stability guy. I'll be the thing that no matter what, every game you can count on me, and we'll just figure things out around.
Okay, but remember, Richard, before the trade deadline, there was a stretch of 19 games that went December into January in which LeBron James had the worst plus-minus in all of basketball.
Yeah.
And it looked to me like he was all but quitting on that team. He was just lifeless for about a 19-game stretch. And then he was reinvigorated when it went boom, boom, boom at the trade deadline, and they acquired some help.
Well, I think you look at it, even Isaiah Thomas, and I think Isaiah was put in an unfair position. But Isaiah just had surgery.
He did.
Isaiah needed surgery.
He did.
Isaiah should have had surgery.
Yep,
so you have them trying to integrate him into a lineup, and they have all these different things that they're trying to figure out. And yeah, everyone struggled, but to his credit, he showed up every single game. There wasn't one of those frustrating moments where he's just like, look, I need a day off, or I need my normal, this is our 4th game in 6 days. Like, I'm going to take this game off, and here, you guys do. It's like, no, I'm going to show up every single day. And I think, you don't blame people for injuries, but I think the ability to show up every day, to me, was impressive because I've been on his team, and I've seen the amount of work that he puts on. I've seen the amount of stress that goes into everything that he does. So I was impressed when he decided that he was going to play in every single one.
What do you think he needs to do to make sure the Cavs get this win tonight?
Set the tone, and be aggressive offensively. He has an amazing knack for getting everyone involved early because that makes his job easier later, right? And so for him, I'm going to get you shots. I know I can get my points. And so what I want to do is now I want to, get guys involved, and then I'll be aggressive late because now you're going to have to pay attention to all these guys. If I come out and score, and guys in the 3rd, 4th quarter don't have a rhythm, now it makes it so much tougher for me to go to work when I need to because people are collapsing, guys can't hit shots because they don't have any rhythm. This is one of those games that's so important because Indiana's a great place to play. They have a great crowd. So for him, he needs to set the tone and make sure they get this one.
So here's what I think LeBron is missing tonight and maybe going forward in the playoffs. I was surprised they did not bring you back. I was very surprised they let Dwyane Wade go back to Miami because now you were a very valuable piece last year to me because every time you came in, you made things happen in a veteran way. You weren't afraid. LeBron trusted you, and you just, on defense and offense, just created things because you know how to play and you're not afraid of the spotlight in the moment.
Well, one of the things that I think they lacked after the trades and you have to be able to do your role and do your role with enthusiasm.
Yep.
It's not like, hey, I want you to do this. Well, I could do this. I could do more. I can dribble the ball. I can play pick and rolls too. Why can't I take this shot? It's like, no, what do you need me to do? And I think that was something that, myself, Channing Frye, James Jones, guys that were, Dante Jones, they were like, hey, coach, what do you need me to do? Well, hey, Rich, I'm probably not going to play tonight because I want to see what this rotation looks like. Okay, get after it. I'll go get some extra sprints in. Hey, Richard, this team plays small, so we're going to use you. Okay, that's fine. Whatever you need. Hey, they're going to go big, so we're going to play Channing and Kevin together. Hey, if they go small, where it's going to be, you, Bron at the 4 and Kevin at the 5. So you have to have guys that are willing to embrace their role and embrace it with enthusiasm. If that's what you want me to do, then I'm going to do X as well as I can.
Okay, and I'm not sure Rodney Hood and Jordan Clarkson are those guys yet.
Not yet.
They're still too young, and they think they're pretty good.
Yeah, and they are pretty good. They're better. They're more talented than I am at this point in time in my career. But it takes time to understand that. When you start to get in that fire a little bit, you're like, okay, I don't care about my shots. I'm going to play defense. I'm going to hit shots. I'm going to lock in and do anything that I can to help the team get over this hump because you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be the weak link. You don't want to be that guy that all of a sudden everyone's focused on. You're not playing defense and you're 0 for 6 from the field. Those are the things that in these playoffs, everyone, especially when you're playing with Bron and playing with Cleveland and a team that people are expecting to go to the finals, that's when you start to get that attention.
But how difficult is it to know your role, play your role in a moment like this? This is something entirely different. They haven't been in this situation. Okay, being in the playoffs are one thing. Being in the playoff with LeBron James on your roster when the finals is the expectation is something entirely different.
Oh, it's a different monster, and it's not for everybody. I stand by that. Playoffs are not for everybody. That's why half the teams don't go. That's why you have organizations that don't go for decades, that don't go for 5 years, 10 years. And when they get there, they don't have much success. One round and out, maybe sneak into a second round if they get upset. But to embrace that role, it's not easy. It's not for everybody. And that's something that I think Griff, the former GM, did a great job of bringing in guys that understood what it was going to take. Like, I was fortunate I had gone to 2 finals very, very early on in my career, been in the playoffs 14 times. So when it was time for me to show up in the playoffs, it was like, all right, whatever you guys need me to do. You need me to play, you need me to guard, you need me to just guard Kevin Durant and face guard him, you need me to play small and chase guys around. Whatever you guys need me to do, I'm 35, let's go.
How difficult is it playing with LeBron James?
It's not for everyone. And I mean that. Jerry West had that famous quote where it was, all I want to do is win. If winning isn't the most important thing for you, then you're not going to enjoy being around me. And that's something that he takes pride in. All he wants to do is win. Yes, he likes his numbers. He likes that because it's a part of his legacy and what he does. And he has benchmarks that he wants to accomplish, whether it's 25 points, whether it's average a triple-double. You have to, as a player, put benchmarks that you want to achieve. But for him being a great teammate, he is the #1 camaraderie guy that I've ever been around on any level, high school, college, NBA. And I'm talking about, I played with Tim Duncan, played with Dirk, played with Jason Kidd. I've played with, Steph Curry. Bron is facilitating dinners every single night, getting the guys together. He'll get a comedy show together with, Dave Chappelle or Kevin Hart. These are the things that help break up the monotony of the season. He, gifts guys. And he doesn't do this. He does this to let you know, like, hey, when we get into that fire, if I can eat dinner with you, 3-4 times, and we can crack jokes. When we get into that fire and I yell at you, it's because we're brothers, because we're in this fire together. And that's something that I haven't seen from a superstar. And that's, Tim and Dirk, everyone leads in a different way, but that's how he leads.
So did you see the Kyrie-LeBron relationship splinter at all last year? Could you see it coming? Could you see him going another direction? Could you see him being
Splinter is not the right word. I think you have two alphas, right? And Kyrie is an alpha, and he hit the game-winning shot in a Game 7, like one of the biggest shots in NBA history, one of the biggest plays in sports history. But for him, he enjoyed learning so much from Bron. Bill Walton, you talked about, said that that LeBron had to go to Miami to learn from Pat Riley, to learn how an organization runs things and how exact you have to be to win a championship. LeBron learned a lot in Miami, and when he came back to Cleveland, Kyrie learned a lot from Bron.
Sure.
And then at some point in time, Kyrie just got to, Kyrie led our team in shot attempts, played, all the minutes in the world. If he needed a break, if he needed anything, you had Big Brother there. But I think at some point in time, and it wasn't, I'm going to stand by this, Kyrie, it wasn't about Bron. Kyrie was about Kyrie achieving the most that he could as an individual player, right? And I feel like he believes, the Jordan Pippen thing. He feels that, hey, I enjoyed this role of being a Pippen, but it's time for me to go be a Jordan and lead a team. And you saw how great Boston was all year and how dominant they were when he was healthy. And it was tough for my guy, obviously, to deal with that injury. But you can see he can be that guy, and he was that guy all regular season. It was just a matter of him doing it in the playoffs, which the injury didn't allow him.
See, Shannon? He had to go to Miami.
But he said Bron's the all-time great guy.
He had to get the blueprint.
Camaraderie guy.
Had to get the
A
blueprint.
guy that can be by himself in the ivory tower. We say, you know what, guys, let's go.
That's not a
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.